welcome to another installment of Metalhead Central, the show where I take an honest look at the harder side of music and give it an honest rating. Today, we journey down to melodic death and folkville and delve into Eluveitie's new release, Ategnatos. It was released on April 6th via Nuclear Blast. You know how I feel about the label, so we'll just move on from there. Eluveitie has always been my favorite folk metal outfit. I love the way that they are able to weave these traditional Celtic folk elements with the stylings of more modern melodic death metal. They typically sacrifice none of the heaviness in favor of being too folky, and they sacrifice none of the folksiness in favor of being too overbearing with the heaviness, and the balance is very, very interesting. Their dynamics are normally very well done, as they normally throw in an acoustic track or two, or in the case of their last album, they make the entire thing acoustic. Ategnatos, on the other hand, is an album that switches back and forth from this sweeping grandiosity to the harder, more crunchy elements typical of deathier styles of metal. At one point, you'll have Kriegel Glanzmann unleashing his trademark scream. Then you'll find a moment where new female vocalist Fabienne Erni is lending her beautiful voice to the record, and trust me, it's beautiful. I know a lot of fans are really hard on her, but it's really good, trust me. Sometimes these two pair up and do these really marvelous duets. Her singing backs up his rough vocals very well, and the record is way better for it. I have to praise the music on this album. As usual, Eluveitie are able to seamlessly mix folk and metal into something that is both beautiful and jaw-grindingly heavy, and it works. Songs like A Cry in the Wilderness, Rebirth, and Worship carry out the heavier aspects of the album, while tracks like Breathe, The Slumber, and The Silver and Glow present an excellent representation of just how talented this band is when it comes to the softer side of music. I also really enjoyed the consistency of the songs on here. Nothing went too long or too short, with the possible exception of the 12-second long Ankus. That kind of felt like a throwaway track. But other than that, this is one of the most consistent records I've ever heard. It's a longer album, an hour and 19 seconds, but the songs make the hour go by very, very quickly. There's nothing too slow, and there's nothing too fast. It's just a wonderful ride through some wonderful folk-ish melodic death metal. On the downside, the heavy tracks feel really heavy, and that takes just a little bit away from the beautiful nature of the folk instrumentation. It makes them seem thrown in as an afterthought instead of mixed into the cauldron of music the band is creating. Another thing I have a tiny problem with is that they re-recorded Rebirth instead of using the track they released as a single 2 years ago. It's still an excellent song, but Fabienne's vocals seem lost at some points, and the guitar solo doesn't seem as punchy or memorable as it was on the single version. But, those are really, really small criticisms of an album that is otherwise a complete masterpiece. I enjoyed a lot on here, and I'll definitely be doing my best to grab a physical copy of it. Listening on YouTube Music is one thing, but I can't wait to pop this sucker into the car and feel like a Celtic warrior while driving around town. I highly, highly recommend it. It's definitely an Album of the Year contender, and I'm giving it a 98 out of 100 on the YPS scale. Thank you so much for watching. Click like and subscribe for more Metalhead Central content. Next week, we'll be taking a sludge-filled journey through Inter Arma's new album, Sulphur English, an odd title from a band with a very odd name. It should be a lot of fun. Don't miss it. Again, you've been watching Metalhead Central, where I give honest ratings to honest music, and I'll see y'all next time.